Welcome to my program, The World in the Pocket. Today we are in Sweden and I greet a relative of mine, Helena Kristenson from Gothenburg, who breeds horses. Hey, Helena.
Hi, Gabby. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how we are related, that's a long story. I think we don't have. But I remember our childhood when I was speaking in German to you and you answered me in Swedish. And I think we found a common language anyway. But now we communicate in English. And I also know from our childhood that you're really a horse lover. I had to play with your horses. There were no dolls around. I can't remember. And you were putting me on a horse first. That wasn't my thing, really. And you were very good in drawing horses. And obviously you had already your own horse then. If it is not your profession, but horses are definitely your passion, I would say. How did it come that you are so related to horses?
Oh, I really don't know. Normally, we start young as children, going to the stable and connect to horses and riding schools. We have a lot of riding schools in Sweden.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of access, easy access to horses without having to buy them yourself.
Mhm.
And I can just say, once you're hooked, you're hooked. If you No, a lot of children, they stop when they become teenagers. They have another interest and things like that. But if you survive the teenager time and still are in the stable, then you're hooked. You just can't leave it. I can't understand it. It's just a way of living.
Okay. So it is not a family tradition. Your parents or grandparents, they weren't in riding horses.
No, I can't say that. Mother grew up on a farm when she was young, and that was horses and cows and everything. And she was very involved with the horses. But that's the only connection,
Mhm.
actually, the family connection.
Yeah. And you had a farm yourself, a horse farm, did you?
I had for a time, yes. But then I split with my partner, so we sold the farm.
And now you are breeding jumping horses.
Yes, I am.
So that might be a difficult business, I can see. You're doing it only in Sweden or do you do it internationally?
Well, since I don't have my own farm, I certainly have a little bit different way of keeping my horses.
Mm-hmm.
I have about the breeding mares and some offsprings are in Germany.
Uh-huh.
And then I have brought back to Sweden some youngsters who has to be trained as riding horses.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very different from other person because most people have their own stable or they have them in a farm in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
But I have my horses in Germany,
Is it
so it's a bit different.
Yeah, is this because of your relation? Your mom is German. Is this because of your relation to Germany, or why did you pick Germany?
I think Germany is one of the best countries to work with horses. It has a long tradition, long breeding tradition, riding tradition, and as far as I think, one of the best horses in the world. And they also have a lot of good stallions. I really, why did I take them to Germany? I guess I couldn't find a good place in Sweden. That was one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's so much more horses in Germany than in Sweden. People are respected for the choice of working with horses in Germany, and you are not in Sweden. It is considered as a hobby.
Okay, understood.
So it's much more professionalism in Germany, which I like,
Mm-hmm.
and knowledge.
But then you can't see them often, especially now these days where you can't travel so easy. So
Yes, that's a problem. That's a problem. Today, the COVID thing is a problem because before I went down every 3 months to just see the foals growing and things like that. And I just visited my cousin in Hanover. So, yeah, it gave me a reason to visit her much more often than I had my horses nearby. But since the COVID thing, I have just been down once, I think, because I have my horses in a company, so I'm allowed to go as a business travel without any restrictions.
yeah, but you must have good partners there that you trust them.
Yes, that's very important to have a good stable and good partners that you can trust, as you say. That's very important.
Mm. How many horses do you have at the moment?
Ooh, I think it's 8. You never know when you have horses. Suddenly there is a foal and suddenly someone dies. But
How many you have in Sweden and how many you have in Germany?
technically, I have 4 horses in Sweden, but one young horse is sold, but the new owner haven't collected the horse yet. So I would say 3 horses in Sweden, and that's the grown-up horse is actually heading to Germany within 2 weeks. So then I only will have 2 youngsters here in Sweden. And the breeding mares, I had 3. I have sold 1, hopefully. The buyer hasn't got the horse yet. And I got 2 foals and 1 young horse in Germany. So 5 horses in Germany, or 6 with the one who isn't delivered the mare that I sold to another breeder.
Yeah, breeding horses seems to be big business and has changed over the years.
Yes, it has changed, so to speak, that anyone can breed horses, and a lot of people do. You have your old riding horse, who in some cases are a mare, and you want to breed your next horse because you want a new horse from the mare you have.
Yes.
Or just for fun because you can, and it's very easy to get access to the breeding stallions today. About 30 years ago, you had to choose the stallion who was next door because the breeding that then the state in Sweden were responsible for the stallion and the grading of stallion and things like that. And in the springtime, they send the stallions out in the country. So what you got is what you got. Today we ship the semen and we have deep frozen semen that you send worldwide. So now the world is your market from choosing stallions and also to sell the horses. A lot of people has become interested who was not interested in our way of riding and compete with the horses. Like China, for example, is a new market. And yeah, it's the access and internet, of course. You show your horses on videos on internet and photos, so everyone can see your horses today in another way.
Do you sell your jumping horses internationally? Where have you sold them already?
Well, I did a restart with my breeding. Let's see. One horse is sold to Germany, actually. And as I said, another one is heading down to Germany to be sold there. Very good horse. And you have another market also in Germany, and a lot more people are looking for good horses in Germany because they are concentrated in big stables.
Yes.
In Sweden, you have one horse there and one there and one there, and it takes you a lot of time as a buyer to find a horse in Sweden. We don't have the same traditions with selling. We are heading there with the auctions and things like that, but we don't have the same traditions as in, for example, Germany or other countries in Europe.
But it could be that, for example, a Chinese person comes to Germany and buys there a horse, or a Russian or French or whatever. Could this be?
Yeah. Yes. They do.
And you always look who wants to buy, and you may say, oh no, I don't sell my horse to this person or to this person. Are you there very carefully looking?
You try to find out, of course, who the buyer is if you sell the horse personally, but if you put it in an auction, you never know who buys your horse.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just have to accept that people don't keep horses the way we do in Sweden. We keep them a lot of outdoor in the paddocks, grazing
Yeah.
all over the year. But in Germany, you are more into stabling horses, and some horses are in the stable 24/7, except for the time they get ridden or go to the walking machine. Um, and if you can't accept that kind of stabling, then you should not be in the business,
Mm.
because everyone thinks they take care of the animal in absolute best way, and people look at us with horror. How can you keep a group of 20 horses in the same paddock? They will kill each other. No, they won't. They know each other. But yes, accident can happen much more easier if some two horses unfriend each other.
Mm.
They are strong animals. So yeah, we have different view of keeping horses in different countries. Yes.
Yeah. You said auctions. So you're selling mainly on auctions or privately?
No, no, I don't. When it comes to auctions, there are a commission who are checking all the horses
Mm.
and say this will sell this and this, but not this one. They have to go through a lot of veterinary check, X-ray check, and things like that. So if the horse is not perfect, then it's not in the game.
Mhm.
Um, I tried with the one who was sold to Germany. I wanted him to be in the Swedish auction for 3-year-old horses. But the group who was selecting the horses, not everyone liked him. So I had a no for him.
Okay.
But that is, I'm not that unhappy for that.
Mhm.
But you have to try. I will try with another horse this year, I think, to try to well, how do you say? You have to have a plan also with this. You have to groom them a lot and make them look shiny and nice. And I'm waiting for the guy who is doing the X-rays so that I know that the horse is perfectly in health for the X-rays. Otherwise, it's a big no-no.
Yeah.
They want to accept horses with the faults.
Sure. You're selling jumping horses. So
Yes.
does this mean that you or your partners or train them, or you have special trainers for them?
Well, since I don't ride any longer, I send them to people who train them.
Mhm.
And today, the breeding has specialized a lot. So you either breed dressage horses or jumping horses, or for some breeds that are only for driving with a carriage
Yeah.
and not so comfortable as riding. And some breeds are just beautiful. You just look at them. You don't even try to ride them. But the horses is so specialized today. So they almost go by themselves. We don't even need a rider. A jumping horse jumps everything they see, and the dressage horse just moves very beautifully. So um,
I thought it needs a lot of training. So no, it isn't the case.
yes, they need training, and they need you have what you say. You have to go through certain steps. You have to build the horse up
Yeah.
physically and the head of the horse, what's it called, so that they understand the training
Mm.
and 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 that you can see also a development from when you start them to accept the rider, to understand walk, stop, trot, down to walk, stop, and the steering. Um, and in the beginning, you build a lot of muscles and strength in the horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, first year, and then you start to specialize in, for example, for us with the jumping, all we do small jumpings. Yes, you have a short-term plans and the long-term plans for the horse's development.
It's like going to school.
Yes, it is. And that also you see when you go to the competitions.
Yeah.
When a horse cannot be younger than 4 years old, and you just do training competition, and when they are 5, they're doing a certain jump, 1 meter 110, and when they're 6, they go 120, 130, and then they are 7, they can go 148, and over they can go the highest if you have succeeded with the training. So it's a long-term training.
Have your horses already won international prizes?
Not this one, they are too young. But as I said, I restarted the breeding. The horses I had before, it was ponies, Connemara ponies.
Oh.
And one was selected for international competitions in team European Championship, and both of them went into the Swedish Championship during their career. But so far, one of my breeding mares has been competing internationally up to 140 before she was injured. But not my own breedings. No, they are too young.
Okay, good, understood.
So we haven't come that far yet.
So, and you, when you were a little bit younger, you have been on tournaments, jumping, dressage?
My ponies mostly went to dressage competitions. And I had children who competed there, but I did the basic training and the education of the horses and the children, of course. And when I had the warm blood for myself, I did a little competing, yes.
But now you are still riding for leisure, I guess?
I'm not riding myself any longer. Okay. I don't have that so much time to do it. If I'm going to do it, I want to do it every day, and you know, can't go every second week, and because then you get very sore. But I'm planning to try to start riding again because I miss it a lot.
Yeah, as you said, it is your hobby, your big hobby, but you're a lawyer, so you have a profession as well to look after. Do you still know how many horses you had already? And do you remember your first horse and the name of the horse?
Oh yes, my first horses was two ponies. They were siblings.
Oh.
And they had actually full siblings. They had the same mother and father. And the oldest one was called Lusona, and the 1 year younger Luquette. And I think Luquette, she became 29 years old. So, and she died, I think, 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that. So because I noticed there were no dates any longer.
Yeah.
And my first big horse, which I sold to a friend who lives nearby, she turns 29 this year. And one horse I sold to the National Riding School, or what it's called. And now it's a private, but before it was a state who owned this big education thing. It was military in the beginning. She was sold as a school horse for people are going there to be riding teachers or to educate themselves in the profession of horse riding. Yeah. They have one of my offspring there, and I think she will turn 23 or 24. Wow. Still working.
How old can horses become?
There are some horses, famous breeding stallions, who, like one of the most famous good stallion lives in France. I think he's 30 this year or 31.
Mhm.
And I just read the sad news that a very big breeding stallion from Sweden died, and he turned 31 this year. But after 30, a lot of horses, they can't eat. The teeth
Oh, okay.
are too bad for them or other things. No, but small horses like Shetland ponies, they can be really old, like 40, 45 years, if you take very good care of them.
Mhm. Okay.
And I know a pony, I know the owner, she had to put him down, but I think he was 39 or something. He was constantly out running on the road, so the police department weren't too happy about him. Very energetic horse. So, but he became very old and had problem with keeping his weight.
Maybe.
So she had to put him down before he was caused an accident.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, it seems to be really alive. Can one obviously not have a proper job, a hobby like horses, and a family? No, but one can have a dog. How is your dog doing?
Yes, you can, but you have to have a very understanding partner. And if you are having a family, everyone should be involved with the horses. Otherwise, it's a no-no. I think you can't be the horse person yourself. I've tried,
Mhm.
but not very understanding partners. So
It's not
then
good.
it's no good. You are constantly in a bad mood and in feeling guilty for leaving the house all the time, coming home late at night with
Great.
hay
With my
hay in your hair and smelling a horse and right in the morning 6 o'clock, oh, off to the stable, bye.
Bye-bye. How is your dog doing?
The dog, she's doing fine. I don't know where she is, asleep somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
But she's getting old also. She's 10 now.
But good with horses? Dogs are good with horses normally?
She's not allowed to go out in the stable due to she was very good when she was a puppy, but
Mm.
when she became a little bit older, she looked at the horse, looks tasty. And the horse looked at the dog and said, you come, my dear, and we have a little chat. And the dog realized, oh no, it's going to kill me. So, but she's not a herding dog, but she has a little bit hunt in herself, and she would love to play around with the horses, but that can be very dangerous.
Mhm.
And she wants to be very close, and she has anxious separation anxiety, so she will not be feeling very well. So I leave her at home when I go to the horses.
Mm.
That's the
Yeah.
best for her.
I remember your dog is very strong and likes you very much. I tried to hold it once, but it wasn't
Yes.
running. was
Yeah, she dragged you back. Very funny.
was a funny picture. Helena, that was really a nice talk. I hope it was interesting. We will put some pictures of your nice horses. And yeah, good sell. When I'm next time in Germany, I will have a look at your stable and maybe we meet there and then you can
Yes.
talk us through. Good. Okay, so have a lovely afternoon. Don't work too hard for your other job. Do more for your hobbies.
Yes, I will.
Okay, bye.
Bye.